Hello everyone, Zellerant here, and today I thought I'd take a look at the factory system within Arknights Enfield because I believe it's going to be the biggest determining factor on whether or not this is going to be a game for you. I know we discussed the gotcha system in the other one, and while some people are going to like it or not like it, it might be a determining factor to them. I feel like the factory system is going to be more integral to your decision on whether you want to play this game or not, because it is heavily involved within this game. And so if you look at it here, I am currently at my the sub factory that you have, because you can have these outpost factories as well as your main one that you start with. And I believe it's probably going to work out that every time we have like a new big patch, you're going to get a new landmass and you're going to start a whole new factory there. So just know that this is going to evolve as time goes on. Now, I've only upgraded the Outpost 1 so I can demonstrate the systems, but just know it's going to get more complex as time goes on when you play this game, and this is just kind of showing what it's going to be over time. Anyone that's familiar with the games like Factorio, Satisfactory, or if you're like a Minecraft player and did like Applied Energetics, it's going to be very similar to those systems. I don't know if it's going to get as complex as those systems, but it will definitely show some complexity here in the future. Now, you have the main one, which the only thing that I can see that's really difference between the main one and the smaller one here is just how much area you have within them. You can utilize both of them for building up your factory, and you're going to absolutely have to do that because you probably are going to run out of room at some point. And so there's two components to it. You have like the creating components and stuff that your outposts are going to need, but you also have a little tower defense game where you need to build up a defense that kind of defends that factory as enemies try and target it. So you can see how I built gun tower turrets here. Now, the biggest thing is right off the bat is you can build anywhere on the map with certain tools. And the biggest thing that you're going to see right off the bat once the game starts is supplying power to different areas. And so when you hit tab, if you're on PC, that opens up the factory mode where then you can build stuff. And the biggest thing is having these pylons that you build that can transfer power to different areas. That's how you're going to be able to activate like gun turrets and stuff all over the map depending on where they're needed, as well as unlocking certain puzzles, because there's some puzzles where, hey, you have this locked gate. The only way to get into it is to activate the switch, which then you have to build these towers that lead up to it so you can give it power to get into it. So you have that component of it, and it's fairly straightforward on that, so we won't go too in-depth on it. The other thing you're going to have to do is you're going to need things like resources, raw materials like amethyst and whatever this other one is called, which is like originium. That is for, and these I think are just going to be your beginning materials, like I have here. So you're going to go out to those mining areas, put down these miners that mine it up, and there is, once you get the electric miners, it's going to automatically bring them back to your factories. And so you can actually go onto your factory here and then just go ahead and look at the factory details, and it'll show everything in there of all the materials you have stored, as well as their cap that they can have. In the beginning, you're going to start where you're going to have to do your own manual mining and all that. You bring it in here, and just like a game like Factorio, over time, the requirements needed of these materials is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, where doing everything manual is going to just take way too much time, so you have to start automating. And so the first part where you're going to really see where you need the automation is with these outposts. And so right now, I have the Valley Pass camp outpost. These will slowly level up over time, and then you have requirements to level them up to the next level, but they will have an item that they need within their supply. Now, you can manually make these. You can actually take a look at it. It says this amethyst bottle requires 2 of these amethyst threads or whatever, and they can make the bottle. Problem is, you can manually do that, but you have to go over there and craft it, and then you have to come back here and manually turn it in. You go here, you supply the goods, they get delivered, the outpost grows, then you have to wait 1 more minute before you can do it. And as you can see, there's like almost no XP giving to the outpost doing that. So you're going to be sitting here all day having to keep clicking manual. Now, the big thing is it has an auto, which means if you have these materials being built automated, then it will just keep delivering them every 1 minute. And that is how you're going to level up really quickly, as well as get these credits here, which you can go onto your ship and trade for different materials and resources. And so that's going to be pretty huge with that. Now, the question is, well, how do you start automating things? And so we'll go to my main base, which is, or the main POC, which is where I've kind of been building everything because I haven't really needed to min-max the space yet. But I've already kind of started the first automation for those bottles. And so with the system, you basically have these different units that you can build. Like there's a refining unit, there's a molding unit, there's a ton of different units, and it's going to get a little bit more complex as you go down, because this is a research tree where you can start unlocking all these different little modules for creating stuff. And I don't know how complex this is going to get, but it seems like there's going to be a decent amount as we level up. And then I'm going to guess as patches come, they may add new stuff that you have to build. But the first thing is you have to, what you'll unlock quite early on is going to be this thing right here, which is called the electric mining rig. And what this does is, this one's fairly straightforward. You get power to an area where you can mine, and you just place it down on that material. So right here, I have all the amethyst. I have these electric mining rigs on them. They are going to automatically mine them. And they have a teleportation transport system built in that it transport those materials back to your factory. And then from there, you just have to start working on, okay, my factory's over here, on automating the process of creating stuff. And so, like I said, if you've played Factorial, this will seem pretty similar to that to you, in that you have your output tabs on your factory as well as your input. So anything that's in storage can be exported out. So the biggest things right now that I'm needing at the beginning of the game are this Originium and Amethyst ore. And so you can export those out through these little output tabs here. You can just go in there, and if you don't like doing it by hand like this, you can do it just like Factorial. You click caps lock and it'll actually go to a top-down view. And this is actually a lot easier to deal with. But you have the outputs. You go to the output. Very simple. You select what do you want it to be spitting out. Right now I have it spitting out Amethyst here. You do that, and then you go into, you build these conveyor belts that'll move those materials into your other units. So right now I have my refining unit here. I go in there. I have this set that it's taking those ores and converting them to that amethyst fiber. If you remember that item my outpost needed, it needed those bottles, and those bottles required the fiber to build. So I have it building the fiber, and then from there you have it output it to the molding unit, and this molding unit is able to turn those into bottles. And then from there, I have the belts take those bottles as they're being made, bring them back into the PAC, or basically my storage. And by doing that, it allows my outpost to now just keep having it turn in. Like right now, my depot has 532 of these bottles in it, and every minute it's giving them 10 of them. And because I have everything automated here, I have a never-ending supply of bottles coming in, and so every minute I'm basically turning in 10 bottles. This is basically the factory system in a very simple one, because this is the very first one they start you with. And they do have tutorials to kind of show you and demo this, but this is the simplest one. Now, as you can see, this area is fairly large, and that is because these are going to get more complex over time. Don't know how complex. Is it going to get complex enough where you have to like utilize all this space and really min-max how you place your stuff here? If that's the case, you're going to probably want to use guides, and I might end up trying to make some of those, because this is something that I actually am really, really good at. But we can actually see, since I leveled up to level 2 on this, kind of how it's going to progress. And so I'm level 2 now. So right now, this is the first level 1. It doesn't provide as much XP. And so if I go to here, where is it here? So I have the supplies. I can go here. I go into it to view what they want, and then I can switch this to their better one here. And so you can see on the credits, you get 5 more Outpost Prosperity on the second one, and as well as 10 extra credits on the second one. So if I wanted to do that, I can switch it to this one. And this one wants these buck capsules versus these amethyst bottles. So if I were to select that, this is what I need to make. Now, what does this thing require in order to be made? So we can go to this, go in the menu, look at the crafting for it. It requires those bottles. So, all right, that's good. We're already automated those bottles. Now we just need another step where we take those bottles and add it to you add it into another factory alongside these buckflower powders. And so now I'm going to need to expand my factory. And I have to automate making these. And then after I make these, I need to take these bottles that I'm making and these buckflower powders that I'm making and put them into the machine and have it now make these. So if I go back to my factory here, how I'm going to do that, and I'm not going to fully do it here because I'm just kind of discussing it. I have these Amethyst bottles. What I'm probably going to have to do here is, right now it's not going to be too complex yet, so I can make this fairly simple. I can probably output here. I can probably have the Buckfleet powder here. I can have that coming out of this one. I can have a belt. Take that belt. Just have it go up here. So now it's going to pull those flowers out. And then I just take whatever makes the powder. And I believe it's the shredding unit. I just take the shredding unit here. Have it putting it into the shredding unit. Go into the shredding unit. Okay, does it have a formula? Yes, right here. Buckfleet powder production makes this. So it can do that. Right now it doesn't have power, is what it's telling me. So I just got to put an electric pylon out here. That'll give it powder. Now it's automating these being made. And then from there, I'll just take these. I'll have them come out. And I could probably just take it down here. And then I can, instead of... So I'll have that go there. I can remove this one. Or, well, don't remove the whole thing. That would be bad. But I can... Okay, unselect multiple... That one. Man, it can be a pain in the butt to kind of get used to the controls here. The big thing is that it has an auto-delete the entire thing. So I don't want to do that. So I think it's just, yeah, not doing that one. Man. There we go. That's just kind of being a pain there. I might just delete the whole thing here. I don't know why it's... This might be a feedback item I have for them because I don't think it should default to deleting the whole thing. But we'll go ahead and delete the whole thing since it's just going to be a little simpler. And then I can instead, now I will exit that. And I will build this one out to bring them to this next one. And then I need to figure out what is the machine I need to craft the item. I actually don't know it off the top of my head. I'm going to guess it might be a molding unit here. No, it's not the molding unit. I may not actually have it researched because in the research tree, I'm going to guess it might be another one of these. So I won't actually do it right here. But basically, I would get that other machine, place that other machine here, import both of these materials in it. It will now craft that new item. And then after it crafts that new item, I can bring it into my PC or my factory. And then I can just go in here and I can switch it so that now that it's getting these, I can have these getting automatically turned in. And so then as I upgrade my outpost again, it's going to probably have a even more difficult one show up. And then that more difficult one, you have to probably do even more automation. And then it's going to progressively ramp up. And you can kind of see the levels here that the experience needed is going to go up, as well as the requirements for other components of this as well. And so that's just a quick look at it. Just know that this is almost certainly going to get way more complex than I'm showing. And complex in the way that you're going to probably have to keep these things tighter. Right now, I'm using up a lot of space. A lot of space. You may have to do something where you take this, it goes down into this, immediately comes out into this, turns around, puts it back into here, have it come out again into the other machine so you can keep everything nice and tight, because that'll be a big thing, is keeping things nice and tight if you want to fully utilize the space correctly. And like I said, I'll end up making guides when this game comes out on how to do this, as well as other creators, almost certainly. We'll kind of see, since this is a gacha system, I'm going to guess, or a gacha game, I'm going to guess it's not going to get to the point where it's so difficult that you're utilizing every single square of the space and you have to have it in a perfect design to get everything done. I just don't see them making it that difficult. But I'm going to guess you're going to have to use a good chunk of this space. So you're going to have to be a little bit decent with how you build your stuff. But that is the factory system. And like I said, this is going to probably be the core component of the game. The combat's one part, but this is going to be another part, because the whole entire story of this game is spreading these amongst the planet. And so as we move from this map to other ones in the future, I got to exit this mode. So as we probably progress down the line, open up new areas, we're probably going to get whole new factories. The whole new factories, you're going to probably have to start from scratch, because my guess is when we get to new areas, oops, I did not mean to do that. These are going to be completely separate. So even though I have all these materials here, I'm going to guess in the future, when we get new landmass, you're going to have a whole new storage area with whole new recipes, maybe even whole new materials. We'll just have to see how that works. But this is going to be a core component of the game. So if you don't like this style of gameplay and you don't like the factorials type thing, just know that you're going to have to do a lot of it in this game just to progress. So this should be a deciding factor on whether or not you're going to like this game. But that's just a kind of quick look at it and quick tutorial of how it works there. I love this type of system. The biggest thing is I play a lot of gacha games, so as it gets more complex, while I do plan to make guides on it, I do not, if it gets really, really complex, I'll just use I'll watch other people that make guides, simply because I'm going to have to keep up all the other games coming out. So that's the one negative thing. How much time is this going to take up to make sure you can get all this stuff done? Because I can see this being quite time consuming depending on how they want it to go. But yeah, that pretty much covers up the factory system. It is really fun, and I think it's very interesting because I haven't seen a system like this in any other gachas I've played. And it kind of gets me that itch of a factorial game, which since I haven't played that in so long. But yeah, it's an overall great system. Just let me know in the comments what you think about the system. But this will kind of cover it all from here. But if you like my content, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.